You wanna make it right, but no, it's too late. My peanut butter chocolate cake with Kool-Aid. Uh-huh. All right, welcome everybody to episode 9 of FATstaters. This is brought to you by FATstats. We analyze and entertain the game of football, American football, and we try and do it in the most entertaining way possible. So, we are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, medium.com for any readers out there. We're on YouTube. This will be on SoundCloud and YouTube. You can find us anywhere at @FAT_TeamStats. Today's date is April 29th, 2018. We got Mike Papa on the mic.
Hello.
And we got Austin, AP.
Hello.
And I'm Bobby. And what we're going to be talking about today is the NFC West. We've been going through each division every single week, talking about the quarterbacks and what happened in 2017, and sprinkling a little bit of information on what's to come in the next season via free agency, and the draft just happened. Did you guys enjoy the draft? Are you happy with the team's picks? Being a Dolphins fan, you happy?
Very happy.
Mike?
Really? I am very happy as well.
As a Tits fan?
Yes. Very, very happy.
You
Okay.
guys finally drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, the next Tom Brady. Pick 199.
He's done with Marcus.
I'm no.
All right.
No.
I'm glad.
He had a thought cross through his head the other day that if this guy,
Luke Falk.
Luke Falk. So Falk.
I think it's
Yeah, Luke Falk.
yeah.
Luke
yeah,
Falk.
you got it.
So
Fine.
if he becomes the next Tom Brady or a good quarterback, the Dolphins could possibly get Marcus Mariota.
No, I said it came
What?
across my head very briefly as a super scary, like this a big fear is, imagine this guy comes in, right? And he happens to be a Tom Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marcus is out for sure.
Oh, totally.
Where does he land?
Not in Miami.
It scared me to think that he could.
Why would that ever?
But why couldn't it, right?
Please.
It's in his tropic.
He's a starting quarterback in the league.
He's from a tropic environment.
You're racist.
Oh.
Okay.
Well-
that was too far. But I don't think that the tropics in Florida are the same as in Hawaii.
So that's for that reason
I don't.
you're out.
I didn't mean to drop the R bomb.
No, it's okay. It's not the first time.
That was heavy. That was a bad way to start.
Listen, Marcus isn't leaving the Titans, so we'll change subjects now.
All right, so we'll talk NFC West, and I think we don't have a lot to talk about with the NFC West from a 2017 standpoint because, to be honest, the Cardinals had a carousel of quarterbacks coming in with Carson Palmer, Drew Stanton, Blaine Gabbert, and then the 49ers also had some changes throughout the year, although they do now have Jimmy G, which we'll talk about, their savior now. Mm-hmm. So let's just jump right in. Mike, do you want to start with our number one quarterback?
Well, it's interesting. In this division, we actually have now. You have to have eight or more games played and over 300 scorable plays to be counted into our total grade. So we actually have the two best quarterbacks in the league in this division. So we're going to start with actually the one who accounted or had enough games played and actually was in our grading scale. Number one, Russell Wilson. All right, he had an 89 FAT grade, which is first in the league for us. It seemed like, not having a hard difficulty remembering, but in the beginning he was a little slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Seahawks itself, that for them they didn't take off right away. But then Russell started putting the team on his back, and he was doing some miraculous stuff throughout the season.
Yeah.
I know you traded for him in fantasy, Bob.
I
know
actually
you
traded
had
him
and
away.
traded him away.
I drafted him really early. I drafted him earlier than most people thought he should be drafted, and I just looking at his strength of schedule, which is very favorable for quarterbacks. Looking at his consistency, how he is a very fairly consistent quarterback, I wanted to get him early, and he struggled at first, but then he went off, and he just gradually. I mean, they had no running game.
No,
They had no running game. They tried.
They haven't had a running game in like 10 years.
Yeah, since Marshawn. I mean, after Marshawn, I mean they've been going. They had whoever the heck I can't even remember all the. Oh, they
Thomas
tried.
Rawls.
They tried Thomas Rawls, C.J. Procyse, who would always get hurt.
And I freaking drafted Eddie Lacy thinking that
Eddie
he could do
Lacy.
something.
That's right. A lot of people drafted
He's
him
probably
high.
eating McDonald's right now, riding a bike.
Oh.
Well, you talked about
Cheeseburger Eddie.
you talked about consistency. He was 4th best in the NFL in a consistency rating for us, and
Eddie Lacy?
no,
I don't
yeah,
know.
no,
I'm messing with you.
no, you're right. I should have clarified. Russell Wilson
Good point.
was 4th
Mm-hmm.
in consistency.
Inconsistency.
Now, Bob, what is consistency though for the people who don't exactly know?
For the people that might have just came in here to watch their NFC West breakdown. So consistency is something that we measure using a statistical formula, right? For statistics people out there, it's called the coefficient of variation. And that's fancy. What it means is it's measuring the volatility week over week from the QB's FAT grade. So we give a QB a FAT grade every single week, and it's saying what's the average FAT grade and how far or close to it every single week is that quarterback, right? So the closer to 0 this percentages that you're about to say, the better they are, the more consistent they are.
And Russell had a 35%, which was 4th best in the league. Now his true accuracy rating was 6th best in the league at 66.5%.
I just want to say before we move on that Russell was my pick to win MVP if the Seahawks actually, did something with their season. But
He played like an MVP caliber player.
He deserved. Yeah, he deserved to be MVP. I mean, based on our FAT grades, he definitely did. But you look at every other statistical category, not to mention how much he had to deal with a lack of running game for one, but his O-line was horrific. I mean, were battle tested now. They have some decent wide receivers, right? But I mean, it just couldn't get anything going with that O-line. It seems like he was just running around, running for his life every other play.
And their defense wasn't on par as we're used to seeing. Now, he definitely was the MVP of that whole team, and he could have been MVP of the whole league.
I want to say something to that point as well that I was just bringing up because I remember we posted this. We have a rating in FATstats where we're looking at pass attempts per under pressure, right? So how many pass attempts does the quarterback throw while they're under pressure? So it's a ratio, right? Russell Wilson came in as number 2. So it was Tyrod Taylor. Every 3 pass attempts, he was under pressure. Russell Wilson came in at second, 3.2, which just goes to prove it's just a strong point that every time we see, every 3 passes, this guy's running for his life. Or he's under pressure and he's got to make a throw.
Well, you also have to mention that, he does like to run. That's kind of his style, but
Yeah,
he
that's
is
true.
under pressure a ton.
Yeah, him and Aaron, I mean, they do like to escape the pocket a lot. He will try and throw from the pocket, but
Yeah.
They like to extend the play and just make things happen that aren't there.
He's at his best when he is making magic happen.
Which honestly, you know what? Don't even play offensive lineman. Let him just run around and break tackles and throw the ball deep. I'm just kidding. All right. The most surprising team in the NFL, in my opinion,
the Rams.
the Rams.
The Rams.
The Rams. I guess it was the Jeff Fisher thing. We've talked about this a lot before. The most losingest coach. Is that a word? Losingest?
I think
Yeah.
Most loserist?
Loserist.
he has the most losses.
Yes.
As an
So
NFL
Jeff
coach.
Fisher, So they get a new coach and they go from a fact. This is a fact. In the Super Bowl era, they're the only team to go from last to first in total offense in the same or back-to-back years, or
Yeah.
from last year to this year.
Sean McVay turn that entire team around. He is an offensive genius to be so young and to come in. So I was listening to a show the other day, and they brought up the fact that is this now the era of coaches that when we start to get in these young coaches, it's the Madden era of coaching. Imagine that. Like, I don't know if you guys start to think about that, but I was like, man, like, could you imagine all these crazy schemes, all these, wild offensive plays when they break down Sean McVay's plays and what he's doing with these tight ends to set screens and to bubble screens and all this stuff. It's pretty incredible to see. I mean, it's not surprising to see why the Rams were so successful.
So, like, you're saying that in a couple of years or decades maybe that there will be McVay 33 instead of Madden 33.
Wow.
You never know. Look, the game is always evolving, and McVay is just an example of it evolving even more, and defenses and the whole league couldn't figure out how to stop it, which is also why I'm very excited as a Titans fan to have Matt LaFleur as our offensive coordinator.
LaFleur.
He was offensive coordinator for the Rams.
I feel like before we get into Jared Goff, I want to apologize for you having to put up with Jeff Fisher for many, many years. And
poor Vince Young.
oh, God,
Can you imagine how much better Vince Young could have been?
bless his heart.
Listen, he is a winning record as a starter. He has a winning record,
I know.
just so you know.
Now it's because that was based off Vince Young being able to climb out of the pit that is Jeff Fisher.
Look, I enjoyed Jeff Fisher in the beginning years, but yeah, towards the end, it was very hard to be a Titans fan.
Yeah.
I just imagine him stuck in some part of Jeff Fisher.
He got out. He climbed out.
He
Got
was
out the other side.
in a terrible relationship. And let's move on. God.
So Jared Goff. All right. How'd he do? He was actually, we have the writer right here. He was actually the most improved quarterback from 2016 to 2017 when we looked at FATgrade. So he finished 2016 with a 49.8, a 50. Let's round it up. He was a 50, right? He was ranked 37th out of all of our quarterbacks that we graded last year. He was a 50, very bad. This year, he finished 6th with an 80.8, which is a huge jump. Almost 30, about 30 grade points, right? He jumped. And we could see it. I mean, he had much more confidence than that we definitely saw the year before. It was a whole new another quarterback out there, right? He wasn't taking a lot of deep chances. They got Sammy Watkins to where you thought maybe they were going to go deep, but really Sammy was just a decoy. Mm-hmm. They were going down to Todd Gurley. They were doing bubble screens, getting Tavon Austin involved every now and then, Robert Woods. It wasn't a ton of downfield throws, but that was fine because all they needed Jared Goff to do was manage the game, and they did that. And it showed. I mean, he had the most improved. His accuracy, he was 22nd in the league. He had a 62%. So remember, Russell Wilson was a 66.5. It's not a huge difference, but it does make a difference in our rankings where he was 22nd, right? So his accuracy can improve. Consistency-wise, he was 10th in the NFL. He had a 45% in consistency. So he was consistent, and he the most improved quarterback. I think everybody can agree that. Even our fact grades show it. So
I mean, you're even talking about the coaching issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see what a scheme does and a different coach can actually do to your career. Mm-hmm. I mean, he definitely fits that scheme very well. And it definitely helps when you have Todd Gurley breaking 80-yard screen passes.
Well, and when Jared Goff came into the league, Todd Gurley had a terrible season.
He did. Yeah, that offense was miserable.
Yeah,
I mean, they couldn't do anything. Definitely a Jeff Fisher issue. Mm-hmm. That's the key right there. Anything else on Jared Goff? I mean, the Rams they actually got Cooks. They lost Watkins, but they did get Cooks.
Another burner too that he probably won't throw to a lot. So just draft accordingly.
It'll be interesting to see.
I don't know why they did that. They traded.
They need someone to take the top off.
But they could get that I don't know.
Well, in the draft, they could have got it in the draft. Calvin Ridley. See,
They probably-
I like Brandon Cooks a lot, though. I think think he's
do.
well worth a first-round pick.
But I wouldn't have traded a first round pick.
You know what though? He could. Well, now you're talking about attitude, and that's a whole nother dynamic, right? That we don't usually talk about. That could have a huge impact. But they could have traded a third round for Martavis Bryant and got a burner. But again, now you're talking about attitude. You're talking about chemistry and things of that nature. And Martavis Bryant had an attitude with the Steelers. You don't want that coming over. So I get it. But I agree with you. Is Brandon Cooks worth the first round? Are they going to use him? Because what did they give for Sammy? I mean,
They'll use him.
I'm a huge Robert Woods fan, so I mean, I didn't see the need. You need 2 receivers in the NFL today, but like, I would have rather drafted a receiver than.
I mean, Cooks is 24, 23. I mean, he's still young. I mean, he's about to get paid though, so
Yeah,
you're not gonna have him for that rookie contract.
That's why, like the Rams traded for Sammy Watkins and used him for a season. Like,
yeah, they traded E.J. Gaines in a second round for Watkins. I think Watkins is better than Cooks when he's healthy.
ooh.
That's tough. That is tough.
Oh, you know what? I'll agree because like
He's got the body
he
for
has
it too.
monster games when he is healthy and like.
He's got the body of a wide receiver one, whereas Brandon Cooks is like
Which is why the Patriots also traded him. They didn't want to pay him, and they felt if they can get a first for him, why not?
Why is it
That's not the prototypical one that they want.
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Why is it that the Patriots are able to get a first rounder
For everybody.
everybody, but like, I'm not gonna compare Jarvis Landry because, but like, they just like were able. Oh, hey, well, let's just dump him off, get a first round pick. You know, we're the Patriots. Like, we could do this.
The Patriots just know how to work the game. You know, they kind of just know where to put their players, where to trade their players, where to get their players from. They just know how to work the game very well and to get the most out of their team.
Well, I feel like other teams are like, oh, the Patriots are calling.
I feel like you're giving it to
Let's give them all of our picks. Like,
Maybe they won't beat on us so bad next time.
like, but then there's like the Dolphins, and they're like, oh, these guys again. Like,
I get it. I hear you.
All right. So, is there anything else that the Rams acquired? No other acquisitions.
I mean, they got not for the offense. I mean, they got Sue, so their defense is gonna be nice, and they got they lost Tremaine Johnson on defense, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. Do you have anything to say about Jimmy G?
he's a good-looking man. Even better quarterback.
So if he played, like I said earlier in the show, if he played enough games and had enough scoreable plays, he actually would have been ranked number 1 for us, ahead of Russell Wilson. He had a 91.8 compared to Russell Wilson at an 89. He only played 5 games. He won all 5 games. He's 7-0 as a starter in his career. Jimmy G actually was first in consistency with 10%. So he was very consistent all year when he started for the 49ers. And he was also very accurate. He had a 69.2% accuracy rate, which was 3rd best in the league. So Jimmy G came in and was their savior.
How do you like, I don't want to knock his game because I feel like he was coming into a situation where he had nothing to lose. How do you think that he'll perform given now that he's been given this huge contract and he's been given the weapons, and now they're like, you know what, you're our quarterback. Let's see. They have like, how many primetime games did they get this year?
I don't know the number. Yeah, I'm sure
they got the same amount as the Eagles, I believe, and that's got to be a lot of pressure.
See, I still need to see it. He only played, started 7 games.
Of course.
What we saw from him last year was really good. I remember when the Titans played him. Nothing on Jimmy. His receivers were running free. We couldn't guard their receivers, but he was doing his job, hitting the receivers where he needed to. And we did almost beat the 49ers, but we didn't. Then again, Jimmy also whooped on the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah. He handled
the best pass defense in the league, and he manhandled them. So I need to see it again next year. I don't think he's going to play as well He'll definitely be a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he'll be ranked 1 for us though.
Yeah.
He'll probably top 5
Mm-hmm.
in the best case scenario.
So I think I was looking back at your article that you wrote before Jimmy actually got traded, where they were talking about it. That was like last year
Jimmy G, the next
or 2 years
blank
ago.
QB.
Yes, yeah. And I was trying to look back at some of that stuff, but Jimmy G is, yes, small sample size, but he handled it. What you can clearly see when you're watching the tape is that the guy has so much poise in the pocket that he's literally, guys are grilling him, knocking him every single play in his grill, and he's still delivering pinpoint passes, right? I mean, we have a small sample size, but like you said, Mike, if we did consider him and put him up with the bunch, because if we said all of his pass attempts, I mean, his accuracy was 3rd best in the league. Consistency-wise, he was number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So all these stats, it's a small sample size, but I think Kyle Shanahan, right, and the fact that they got Jerick McKinnon, right? Look what he did on the Falcons with Matt Ryan's MVP year. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. He used those running backs so well out of the backfield. It wasn't like Matt Ryan had to deliver the ball way downfield, and he had Julio Jones, which was nice. But Jimmy G can do that with this offense. Shanahan, he can get Jerick McKinnon out in space. It'll obviously, fact grade wise, we won't really look at that as Jimmy G. But from an NFL standpoint and box score and winning games, I feel like he'll be even better than what we saw last year, even with a lot of the tape that people have on him now. So that's what I think, especially just because of the head coach mainly, which we were talking about before, which makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. The Rams and the 49ers both got really good head coaches last
Yeah,
season.
they did get Richard Sherman also.
Mm-hmm.
Can't forget about that.
So there's that.
Who did they draft? Mike McGlinchey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They actually went. Didn't they also get another tackle or something in the second, or maybe they got another guard in the second? I know they
got a receiver in the second.
Oh,
they
who
got,
was it?
Dante Pettis.
Yeah, apparently he's a stud. Reggie Bush said that on Twitter. Factoid.
So we talk about Jimmy a lot. Do we have anything else to say about Jimmy? I mean,
No, looking forward to his exciting.
Everybody in the league pretty much wants to see what he can do next year.
Yeah.
And I definitely see. I'm glad for the 49ers.
I honestly have more confidence in Jimmy G than I do Jared Goff. When you look at the film and everything, I just have more when I see him, I feel comfortable. If I was a 49ers fan, I feel so like relaxed and like Jimmy's got this. Just from the small games, but just the way he carries himself. Jared Goff, I'm still unsure about. I don't know. I feel like it's just so much McVay than Jared Goff being a great quarterback. Jimmy is the difference. That's what I'd say.
I almost don't want to sell give my opinion too much on Garoppolo because I don't want to sell him too high or sell him too short. I want to kind of remain in the middle, so I'm not disappointed. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the last team then. Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals. We don't have any grades for them based on they have to have a certain amount of games for us to have them in our list. However, if we look at Carson Palmer, Blaine Gabbert, Drew Stanton, they were not very good. Carson Palmer had a 76 out of 7 games.
He would have been 13th.
Yeah, 13th, right? And then Blaine Gabbert had a 57.9. Funny thing about Blaine Gabbert is he is the most consistent quarterback over the last 2 years. Now, do not get that confused with the best quarterback in the last 2 years. He is consistently bad.
Yeah.
Consistently the worst quarterback in the league.
Which is the Titans' new backup. Well, not anymore because we drafted the next Tom Brady.
Well, you never know.
But, he had a 57.9, which would have honestly been 29th in the league.
Deshaun Kaiser, shout out.
And then the other quarterback that started for them, Drew Stanton, had a 55.7, which was which would have been dead last.
Let's talk about their. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm
with
done.
your stand?
Yeah.
Are you done? Let's talk about Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen. That trade up. I really thought the Dolphins were going to get him. He was like right there. I didn't really care, but the fact that he fell that low, I'm like,
maybe they can get him. They got a chance.
I'm still happy with what we got. But Josh Rosen, Sam Bradford, who do you think? Do you think Sam, if Sam's healthy, do you think Sam starts the entire year?
Can I just say he'll probably start at the beginning of the year, but I don't know. Like, we haven't seen Sam Bradford play a full season in like ever. When's the last time Sam Bradford played a full season?
It's been a while. I think he has, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's just
I think if he is healthy, and he will play the whole year if he's healthy. I don't think his play will be that bad where they throw Josh Rosen in.
well, they paid him $20 million to.
He's gonna play, but I think he'll get hurt and Rosen will come in.
He's gonna do something.
I don't think Rosen will come in because Sam Bradford plays bad. I don't see it.
Yeah, I agree. I like Sam Bradford. I really thought last year if he wasn't injured, if he didn't get injured, like he had 100 his first week when we graded him against the Saints. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was against the Saints. And, he looked so nice. But I just think that's Vikings offense more. Anyways, I'm excited to see. Anything else that David Johnson's back, that'll be nice. Besides that, their wide receiver core, who do they got as wide receiver? They don't
Larry
have
Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk.
Larry Fitz, yes. Who else on the outside?
They just drafted Christian Kirk.
They drafted Christian Kirk. Mm-hmm. He'll be a plug. He'll be starting day one.
They did get an offensive lineman through free agency, Justin Pugh.
There's talk about Dez.
Yeah, where will Dez go?
Do they get him?
I don't know.
No, I don't see it.
I think that'd be a stopgap for Christian Kirk. I want to see him develop. Early in the draft season, he was projected to be in the first round. Like Christian Kirk is.
Are you saying you don't think he'll start day one?
No, I think he will.
Okay.
Like he's got what it takes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Rosen will play at some point in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because Bradford gets hurt, in my opinion.
Only if the Cardinals just start to.
Maybe even if they're so bad.
They ain't making it to the playoff. Very possible. Possible.
Anything's possible.
Why not?
Poor Patrick Peterson, though.
All right, so let's do how we usually end this. Austin, what is your rankings? How do you think they'll finish next year?
I'm gonna go
How many playoff teams?
2.
Ooh, okay.
Rams and 49ers. I
right.
don't think the Seahawks did a good job in addressing their needs per se. They drafted a running back that they could have gotten in the second or third round in the first round.
Yep.
They did need a running back, but yeah. And then there's the Cardinals that there's just too many question marks surrounding the whole quarterback situation and
Rams or 49ers coming first.
Rams.
They tied. Rams?
49ers make it in like 9-7.
Okay. Bob?
I think 2 teams as well. And I think it's the Rams and the Seahawks only because the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, they were close last year, and Russell Wilson is in that tier now. He is getting to that tier. He's there now where, like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, if you have him on your team, you have a very strong chance of getting into the playoffs. They'll get like 9 wins, maybe. So it's gonna be hard. They're gonna have to try and win the division because the other teams in the wild card are gonna be so strong. That's gonna be tough. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I might have to revert to just say the Rams just might make the playoffs because it's gonna be tough to get into the wild card. And I just don't. Russell Wilson will be the only reason why they have a lot of success in their defense. They've got some pieces. They still don't. I don't know how Penny's gonna do. Now that they drafted him, they got Chris Carson coming back and stuff.
I don't think that Rashad Penny will do bad. It's just that they didn't need to take him that early.
I know it was surprising. So it must mean that they saw something that they really liked in this kid. We'll see.
Look, you take a player when you can take him,
Yeah.
and they must really like him.
That's true.
Yeah. So to answer your question, now Rams, they'll make the playoffs. They'll finish first. Then I see Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals.
Okay. I think only the Rams make the playoffs. They win the division. The NFC wild card is going to be very, 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 very tough. I think the 49ers will come close, but they won't make it. Then Seattle, and then the Cardinals. We're pretty much all in agreement for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
We all agree that the Rams are the best. And
I think they won't play as good as they did last year, even though they improved.
yes.
There's just so much going on there. I feel like it's going to be they played really well last year. It'll be tough. They might just come out and pull a Patriots and go 19-1.
Yeah. I just can't. Yeah. Do you have anything else, Austin? Since you're on the show, you visited us coming from Florida Gulf Coast. Do you have anything, any shout outs, anything you want to bring to the attention of everybody that's going to watch this?
I love the Money Pit.
Yeah. Tom Hanks. Good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. I can't believe Martavis Bryant is apparently more valuable than Jarvis Landry. All right. That's it.
FATstats.
Oh.
Good job.
Of course you do, Austin.
It's fucking hot in here.
I've never actually seen the Money Pit.
Exactly.
I just feel like that's something you should say in a situation like that.
Yeah, it's a good way to. You're not fold under pressure. I think I've seen that.
They're all about to drown in a safe room. And talking about The Godfather. And he's like, I've never made it through The Godfather. What?
I just want to say that Jimmy G is the greatest quarterback in the NFL. 7-0 as a starter, 5 games with the Niners, and 2 games with the Patriots. I hope he never loses a game. In the future, behind Austin, who's a guest on the show, you might see a Jimmy G FATstats. We're trying to cooperate with Fathead. So it'll be a Jimmy G FATstats Fathead behind us. Shout out Jimmy G. Follow me on Instagram. Go Fix Yourself. Shout out to Go Fix Yourself podcast. Holla Jimmy G.
That means the Giants would never win while Jimmy G is still playing.
I'm going to channel Ryan Meyer here.
As long as
and
Jimmy G's
tell you that
winning the
you're
Super
gross.
Bowls, I'm cool.
You're gross. That's what Ryan would say.
Shout out Eli and Saquon.
Veto. Veto.